Hi there. Welcome to Breathing with Bierman. We have Pinups for Pitbulls. I have to admit, I'm not looking at the dog as much. I am a similar mission. I look at memories, but sorry, dear, I love you. My wife's out there. But anyway, that's part of the love, because you love pit bulls, don't you? And lo and Dupree, you've brought them here.
Yes, I have.
We have
so many ties. Keeping the show going.
We have Dana,
Leah,
and Dana. Can I call you anything I really want to? No.
as long as it's nice.
And
Hannah.
And the great Hannah.
Hannah.
Yes.
So, Laura, do you want to take the lead, or I?
Yes. I've known about this organization for a little while. I've known Deidre, the chairman of the board there, and I just thought this was a great launch ramp to get these people on. But I'm not sure if all the Princeton audience and all our fans know exactly everything that goes on with Pitbull rescue. So I will hand the ball over to these fine ladies. Tell us all about Pinups for Pitbulls and
Deirdre Franklin, who started this, and what's the main mission?
Yes.
So we're a nonprofit organization. We primarily deal with education and advocacy on behalf of Pitbull type dogs. We try to educate the public about the history and temperament of Pitbull type dogs, and essentially that they're like any other dog. They don't bite more often. There's no scientific facts behind any of these myths or rumors that go on about them. And we try to end breed-specific legislation worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
The organization was founded back in 2005. Deirdre was kind of volunteering and doing a little bit of work in the space of animal shelters when she found out that dogs were kind of being, if you were coined a pit bull, then you were most likely being euthanized in the animal shelters around the United States. So that really kind of was the first step towards the mission. She was doing some modeling back then, and with her background in fine arts and her creative nature, Pinups for Pitbulls was born. So the first calendar came shortly after, and the rest is history. We've been at it ever since.
The calendar, the women are, it's like a Vargas painting. They're beautiful colors and everything, and they're dressed up and everything, and kind of, loose, provocative clothes end with a dog. You felt that's the best way to kind of get people's eyeballs on the calendar and learn about pit bulls?
Well, it's really a twofold mission. One is because, obviously everyone wants to look at something pretty, right? So you want something pleasing to the eye, but pit bulls were also the poster dogs for the United States back in World War II. And that was kind of in line with that pinup era. So I feel that it's a natural fit also to kind of bring that back around while we're trying to restore the image of the dogs back to when they were considered like the hero dogs of the United States.
Yeah, they've been demonized. You're working on legislature to change how they're treated, how they're designated. You want to comment on that?
I mean, if we're not going to stand for people stereotyping other human beings in this country, and there's so many people working against that, why are we still allowed to say that dog looks like a pit bull and take it from someone, take it from a responsible owner in your home? There are cities and states in our country right now where someone can just come and take your dog from you because it looks like a pit bull. Mm-hmm. A pit bull isn't exactly a breed of dog. So, there are many different dogs that get characterized as a pit bull. And it's just horrible. And, we work very hard to try to put an end to it and to educate the public. There's no scientific facts. There's no statistics or anything that say that in any of those cities that the bite numbers go down or anything else happens. Deirdre's thesis, actually, for her master's degree in public policy that she received a few years ago, is a paper that speaks exactly to all of that research, and it's downloadable on our website if anyone's interested.
Pinupsforpitbulls.org.
Correct. Pinupsforpitbulls.org.
So what could people who want to help, what could they do to help you?
So basically spread our mission. Tell friends, tell family, tell anyone you want.
Go to the website.
Go to the website, of course. We're always looking for volunteers year round. And donate. Buy merch.
Yeah, we have an awesome merchandise line that's on our website. I mean, we have t-shirts, we have coffee mugs, hats. We obviously put our calendar out. We have 2 books. One book is kind of a collection of 10 years of our calendar images. The second book just came out recently and is really more about how to raise a dog and has a lot more kind of training and behavioral tips associated with it. Sharing our mission on social media is huge. Last year, just through the dogs in need that came through Pinups for Pitbulls and our reposting out in our social media, we have documented that more than 1,000 dogs were placed in homes, were adopted into homes just through us
That's-
being
that's
able to share it
beautiful.
out through our network.
So speaking of that, let's start with the origin of our super special guest here. No, met you over the weekend. You told me the story, but tell the story of the great Hannah. Because this one sure got to travel to get
Oh,
here.
yeah.
And by the way, I am a puppy molester. I stand accused. I am guilty.
Well, look at this shirt.
Are you stereotyping?
Yeah.
Stereotypes are happening again? Fine.
Go ahead.
So Hannah was adopted through New York Bully Crew out in Long Island. And as of last year, they started pulling dogs down from Puerto Rico because the animal abuse down there is unbelievable.
Oh, they gamble and they bet on,
There's a lot of dog fighting, and the strays are just like out of control, the amount of strays that are down there. Because the economy is so bad, people are just letting their dogs loose in the streets or killing them and dumping them. So New York Bully Crew has been pulling dogs from Puerto Rico that are really bad off, and they're rehabilitating them and bringing them up, and people are adopting them. So Hannah was one of the first dogs they pulled from Puerto Rico. And
What kind of shape was she in mentally, physically? Was she
They-
a problem child?
she
Poor Hannah.
she was totally hairless. She was skin and bone. She had a severe uterus infection that when they found her on the side of the road, they actually thought she was dead.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't moving.
So, yeah, she wasn't moving. They went near her, and I guess she nudged a little bit, and they were like, oh my God, this dog is alive. And they rushed her to a nearby vet, and they had to do emergency surgery to remove her uterus and spay her. They treated her for mange, they treated her for hookworms, they treated her for whipworms, and they got her healthy enough to come up to New York. And 2 months later, I went to the facility to adopt a dog, and this is the first one they brought out. And I was like, they were like, do you want to see another dog? I was like, no, I'm good. I'm taking this one home.
And now your dog's totally making out with you.
Well, that's an important point, though, because we did at one point we had a Doberman we adopted, and that dog was a pain in the butt. I mean, I don't know. How do you make sure these dogs aren't so far gone emotionally? Because they are like human beings. They can be very damaged and neurotic and have a lot of...
Dobermans was the evil dog in the 70s,
Yeah,
weren't they? And it was
yeah,
German
yeah.
Shepherds, and now it's
Right,
them.
right,
It's just
right.
like it's like trendy. It's just they pass the puck around.
The urban legend
Yeah.
continues.
You know, and that's really the main reason that I got involved with the organization. When I was in high school, a friend of mine had a puppy that they couldn't keep, so I brought it home. Somebody said it was like a pit bull puppy. I grew up with literally every breed of dog you
and
could
these
imagine.
people probably said you can't. This dog's incorrigible.
Well, I
we
would-
can't deal with it. And
Well, no,
everything.
I would be like walking down the street and people would cross to the other side of the street with their children. Like the dog was like the dog is clearly not a threat to anyone.
right.
But I think, with some positive reinforcement training, the dogs have to relearn trust. Just like, if a child was abused or anything, you have to actually go through and put the work in.
Right.
But
you have to know that there's some work has to be put in.
Right,
You
there's
gotta be
work that has to
responsible.
be put in with everything.
You have to be responsible then. If
Right,
you know what you're
absolutely.
Gotta spend
Responsible
time
dog
with it.
ownership. Yeah.
Those I have to now play the devil's advocate. I've talked to some people in Princeton. I guess where I listen to the street, and one person said, and I quote, "What about black people?" I guess he or she meant she was of color, but maybe she meant any people. What you worrying so much about these dogs? We can help people. How do you react to a question like that?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
I think people have a right to put their heart and soul into whatever it is that they want to put their heart and soul into, and there are a lot of good nonprofit organizations that help people, that help children, that help other countries, that help dogs, that help rescue horses. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, and I think that there's enough goodness in this country to go around, and it shouldn't be don't help us help them, or why are you helping them when there's children that need help.
It's
or
not a
whatever.
competition.
It's not.
I agree. No, I have to say yes, because we're a wealthy enough country, and we do have the time and the resources, and people like yourselves.
Absolutely.
And you can talk about your cup size too later if you want. To give love to, because they have souls, they have personalities. It's true. We're not, I could see if we're on frontier days and we have to eat them eventually to stay alive. That's a different story.
And it's not an exclusivity clause. It's not
Yes.
because I work with Pinups or Pitbulls, I don't participate in any other charity
exactly.
or nonprofit organization.
That's
right?
another stigmatized. Because it's true. Sometimes you hear about organizations like this, they go, she must not have a life. She probably comes home, has a book, and has 5 stray dogs just laying by her.
Well, that might be partially true.
What? I imagine the answer is yes, but if someone wanted to adopt a dog, could they go through you guys to find one?
They could certainly go to our social media, to our Facebook pages where we post on a lot of our dogs. I mean, there's dozens and dozens that are put up there every day, so it's definitely a good starting point. If you're in a specific city and looking to adopt a dog, I would urge you to reach out to, team members like Dana and myself in those areas, because we probably have connections with local rescues or animal shelters in the area that we could put you in touch with.
Mm-hmm.
And,
sorry. No.
But you guys are spread across, I believe, the country, right?
Yeah, we're
Across
Yeah.
the country and Canada.
Yeah, you
That's
spread exponentially. It said on your website. How did this happen? How do you become a new Pinup for Pitbulls franchise, so to speak?
So, I mean, it's not really a franchise. We're an all-volunteer based.
Okay.
Oh, come here, Hannah. We're an all-volunteer-based organization. Every year we put on a calendar call so girls can apply to be in our calendar. So if you want to be in the calendar, it's more than just a pretty face. There's an application process you have to go through. You have to be doing some good work in your community and have taken a standard on something, notable,
That
with
kind
these
of
types
sucks,
of
but I
dogs.
understand why. But,
But because of that, we get applications from all across the U.S. and Canada.
oh,
So
it's very smart. That's how you grow.
yes.
It's kind of a win-win, though, too. If someone wants to even have fun and be part of, photograph, pin up, and help dogs at the same time.
Right.
So with the photo shoot, it's a beautiful pinup and a pit bull.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have you ever collided? Have you ever had a shoot where the pit bull it was a total diva, and have like heavy demands?
Hopefully not
I'm
biting
sure
anyone.
it's happened. I'm sure it's happened. And I'll tell you what, my first time in the Pinups for People's calendar back in 2012, I think it took us about 3.5 hours of shoots to get one good picture with me and my two dogs.
That's really giving back. Look, that's a professional shoot. You've got to get it right.
Yes.
Everything, the lighting, the timing. The dog doesn't always cooperate. It's like the weather.
Yep.
Could be even worse.
So your two dogs were all through this organization too?
Actually, I had my dogs before I started volunteering with Pinups for Pitbulls, so
Okay.
it was part of the catalyst, I think, that brought me to their organization.
Dana, all the way from Staten Island, so you have to speak because I feel bad. No, what brought you into this? You look very young. You both look very young. She's a dean at Mercer County Community College in New Jersey. For those watching worldwide on Facebook Live, New Jersey is a state. We don't.
Yes, they might know this.
I've talked to some people that don't even know where Boston is, so I don't know.
God.
They might know
Sopranos.
Sopranos. Someone has to make the chemicals. What about you? What led you to Pinups for Pitbulls and Staten Island? What do you do besides?
Well, I'm actually a pharmacy technician at a hospital, but I have always loved pinup style and anything vintage, basically. And I've always been one to advocate on behalf of animals. And I root for the underdog. I always do. So.
No pun intended.
But I came across Pinups for Pitbulls on Instagram, and it was just like my two loves collided, and I was like, this is perfect. And I immediately reached out and tried to see how I could help. Was there any way I could volunteer with them? And within a month, I was doing my first event with Pinups for
Oh my
Pitbulls,
gosh,
and
very nice.
now I'm one of our New York team leaders, and I run events of my own.
I was about to say that, but both of you, you can see you've been trained. You're sitting up straight. You're confident. You unlike myself, you actually enunciate. And I understand everything you say. But anyway, go on. Sorry.
So, well, is there anything we look forward to in 2018? Is there like a goal, a new goal Deidre may have in mind that you're trying to get to that anybody could particularly help out with?
I know we definitely want to break that 1,000 mark. I think that was really, an awesome achievement for us this past year, getting 1,000 dogs rescued out, adopted through our social media work.
Wow.
It would be awesome to be able to year over year increase and continue to grow that number. We're also trying to rebuild our base here. The organization was started, Deirdre's originally from this area.
Now she's in Asheville, North Carolina.
Now she's in Asheville, North Carolina. And as it goes, people get married, they have kids, they have lives, things happen, people move away, and really we need a pipeline to help build our street team back up here.
To get a core thing of volunteers.
Right, a core thing of volunteers. So we're definitely looking to bring some new volunteers into the mix right now to join our street team, to go out and really do some more events in the area. Our new calendar for 2018 is going to be out in late fall, so we're excited for that also.
And you have a good, and when if they come, someone will train them. They're not just thrown out there. They
Oh
get
no,
training.
we just give you a box and tell you to go sit on the table somewhere. No, no, we have
Raw meat and a pit bull.
a very rigorous training process. Actually, there's a brand new tattoo shop opening right in Hamilton Township on Route 33 this Sunday.
Hamilton, New
So we're
Jersey.
using that as a training ground to train some of our brand new volunteers.
I like that. That's again a smart way to market. Instead of going to another save event with all these other dogs, you go to tattoos and bikers and
Yeah, we do events.
Horror conventions.
Yeah,
Horror
horror
conventions,
conventions,
Comic-Con.
tattoo conventions, comic book conventions. We're doing an event with a hair salon out in Long Island with one of our volunteers.
I like that. You mix it up and everything.
Yeah, we try to get involved with a little bit of everything
Right.
and reach all different types of people and all different types of interests because everybody loves dogs essentially. So, we want to get our message to as many people as we can.
Did you meet your husband that way? You said you were married.
No, I actually didn't.
MySpace.
But
MySpace.
it's a shared interest.
Don't say MySpace. That makes you very old. No, you look very young.
MySpace was in my generation.
Right.
I'm just saying, but
What about you though? Do you have Instagram following now? Are you kind of in your own way a pinup girl and famous?
Not really. It's more of like a hobby.
I see.
It's just something I do for fun. Mostly I just work a million hours a week at the hospital and do my volunteer work.
So we won't see you in Playboy. I don't even know what's happening with Playboy. When I said that, but really,
Rest in peace, too.
one good thing, it can be a win-win because someone who's maybe interested in public speaking, an organization, and maybe modeling gets a chance to do that at the same time. He actually gets some real stuff to put on their resume,
absolutely.
which I think is really important. Can I do some Pitbull trivia?
Sure.
Do you have more questions? I don't know. Okay.
Might ambush them. I hope they got it.
We'll try our best.
Yes.
You ready?
You can whisper maybe if you know the answer.
Okay.
What country in Europe? So we give you we'll narrow. Did pit bulls originate from? The most people believe.
England?
Yes.
Staffordshire.
And what language do they speak in England? And the only reason I say that because one time I asked someone what language do they speak in England, and they said French. So people don't know that. Okay. Why do they believe to have gotten the name Pit in Pitbull? Do you know why?
I do know why, actually. Do you?
Wasn't it because they were put in pits with
In the
bulls,
pit,
right?
You're both men. Yes, you're very
You
good.
know
Well,
what's up.
what famous dog? Petey was in 1930s children's movies. It was
Little rascals.
I know not everyone.
Come on.
I didn't know that.
Come out with the heavy material. They could take it.
I didn't know that Petey was a pit bull though. But now looking
Yeah,
back,
he absolutely was.
Yes, was. And you said that again. They were posters during World War II. Theodore Roosevelt had a pit bull and loved it and was very famous for it. and
Yep.
everything.
Sergeant Stubby is the most decorated war hero ever in like the U.S. Army or something. The most decorated war hero or war dog ever. He was a pit bull that actually during the war went and saved like hundreds or thousands of lives out in.
How did he save them? When he put them like in his mouth?
He
and
would
dragged
no.
them?
He would be able to like see, I guess, or sense when
Oh,
enemies were
right.
coming or if bombs were incoming and stuff, and was able to alert the troops,
Which
to
war
get out
was
of
this?
there and
That's right.
stuff. It
It was
in
World War
1921.
One.
Wow, that's incredible. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing stories if you look back, and it's so crazy to see how we got from there when you look back on the olden days of the Little Rascals and everything to now. Could you imagine now putting a bunch of kids on TV with a pit bull and like letting them run around
I
the
have to
clubhouse?
admit,
People would be like calling Dyfus.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I gotta. You know what I blame though, and I blame I blame the 24/7 media because for good and bad, they love the stories of a pit bull going through a plate glass window to get a girl, which maybe it happened, but then it replays. The whole world hears about it, and that's all they remember.
Yeah, it's a buzzword right now.
Yeah, it becomes a buzzword. Yeah, exactly.
Most of the time, if it's a husky that attacks somebody, you don't hear about it. It'll
exactly.
just say dog attacks.
Right.
But
And
if it's a pit bull, you always know it's a pit bull.
And then sometimes you find out more behind what was happening. The dog was being tortured.
Right.
The
Well,
dog
and
was
a huge
being
amount
picked
of
on.
times
A little
it
girl,
wasn't
a girl
even
should.
pit bull. People just said it was
Right,
a
the
pit bull. They
because
look
it
at the
sells.
dog,
Right.
or they look at a dog and just say it was a mean, vicious dog. It was a pit bull.
Exactly. It's in urban legends and stuff. And we have 10 minutes though.
Yes, but they also brought a few notes or
Oh.
anything that you would feel free.
Sure. So I would say another thing that people could do to really help our cause goes to your point about the 24/7 media coverage. If you have happy stories about pit bulls, happy pictures of pit bulls playing with kids, happy things about Hannah, share them with your local media, put them out on your social media. It's going to take a lot of people together
Change
to
the
try
message. Use
Yes.
the media, and then,
we can change the message. We can turn it back around again if we have enough people that are working towards this collectively.
Because I just had to do a Google search, and everything you were saying was dispelled. All the urban myths about them. They don't even have a lock jaw. They just bite hard, but it doesn't lock and stuff.
Does not
And
lock.
and they're very low in percent. Yeah, they don't hurt other. They're very low in attacking other people. And then a lot of these stories are a lot of times young, unfortunately. Some of it's inner city though. It's true. Young people, kids left alone with a dog under 5 who shouldn't be,
Right.
Yeah.
and they stick something in the ear. They stick something in the nose.
They pull on the tail.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
They shouldn't even have the kid. They shouldn't have the dog or the kid. That's
yeah,
just bad parenting.
sadly, that's it. What happens, and the dog's a dog. I mean, these things will happen, and stuff.
I mean, another thing I would say is don't shop adopt, even if it's not
Yes.
a pit bull, if it's any dog in the United States.
Definitely, I know exactly what, but please explain. This is something that burns my blood just as much as you. So please explain to all these humans.
Yeah, so
what-
I ran some numbers just to make sure I had some up-to-date information before we came today. And it's reported that last year there was 6.5 million pets in shelters in the United States. It was about split equal between cats and dogs almost. So that's 3.3 million dogs. More than 25% of the dogs were reportedly turned into the shelter as purebred dogs that apparently had papers, were purchased as a
Had
puppy.
papers.
So I'm not sure if the shelter actually keeps or retains, but I'm saying when they're self-reported as being turned in. And I think a lot of people view those dogs as like damaged or unwanted. There must be something wrong with them. But Pet Finder actually did a survey and they reported that the top 3 reasons for people not keeping a dog or a dog ending up in a shelter is somebody moved, somebody had a landlord that didn't allow the pet, or there was too many animals or not enough time in the household, right? So these are good dogs that people are turning in. Out of that number, this is huge. 1.5 million of those animals are euthanized every year in the U.S.
But you said at least the number's gone down, though.
It has
Well,
drastically gone down. They were reporting that in 2011, that number was 2.6 million.
That's
Well, that's
amazing.
great. So that's the
amazing.
shares and awareness.
Right.
And maybe that's
And
social
your
media
cause
again.
actually going through.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that would be my message to people. Don't shop adopt. I mean,
And when you say that though, that means like those just going out and spending $700 on a dog at the mall, right?
Right.
Because they're getting them from the mills.
700, they could be $3,000.
Yeah. It's like, but tell them like they're in cages. They have like explain all that. Where do these people are coming from?
They come from puppy mills, which are extremely inhumane situations. These dogs are crammed into cages that are way too small for them. They're bred over and over and over again until they're useless to the breeder, at which point they're either euthanized or they're put up for auction for pennies. You can purchase a breeding dog from a puppy mill for 2 cents. This is what you can get these dogs for because that's how worthless they are to them at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
This isn't. I've heard about the Amish. I don't want to pick on the Amish, but Amish country's really bad for this.
yeah, Amish country is pretty bad for it. Lancaster County is a big area for it. But it's not just the Amish. It's people breeding dogs out of their backyard. I can't tell you how many times people have contacted me on social media and said, my neighbor is breeding dogs out of their backyard. They've had 4 litters of puppies in the past year and a half. What do I do about that? And there's really nothing they can do about it. I've contacted people in our government. I've contacted the ASPCA. I've contacted animal control. What can I do about this? And legally, there's nothing we can do about it except don't buy them. If you don't buy them, there's no demand for them. People won't breed them.
So, but yes, but the ones at the mills, they're sticking all these puppies, like what, 6 or 7 to 10 or whatever,
Yep.
in a cage in their terrible environment. And they sell them to the mill, and then they sell them for $3,000.
Yeah,
And that's what people are supporting and not realizing it. They're not realizing it.
Right.
And a lot of those dogs end up having health problems. A lot of them don't have accurate vaccination histories and veterinary clearance to be sold. If you get a dog from a shelter or from a reputable rescue or something like that, you're paying probably about $250.
But you're getting papers. You're getting insurance. Could have been
The
a
dog
little.
is
shots.
coming
Yep.
spayed or neutered already. The
Yep.
dog is coming fully vaccinated. The dog is coming to you microchipped already. You know what, in my opinion, the best part of all that is the dog is probably already between 5 months and 3 years old, which means it's potty trained
Right,
already, right?
yeah.
Somebody
Past
else
all
has
that.
already put in some of the work to housebreak the dog. A lot of the times they've already been evaluated on how they do with other dogs, on how they do with cats, on how they do with small children. You know what you're getting into in that situation, right? And if you don't know, if you're 100% certain, foster a dog, right? A lot of these organizations, the more people that will go out into the community and foster a dog means the more space we have available in our shelters to bring in other dogs, and the less euthanasia happens, right? Because at these shelters that are fully packed, like in New York, it's a lottery system. You know, it's literally.
I couldn't even go into one of those, knowing that.
Day and you're getting put to sleep
Yeah,
today
that'd
because
be
we
horrible.
don't have enough space for you. So you could foster and see if a dog is right for you or for your family instead of buying a puppy at Christmas.
So we could do a paradigm shift and get rid of these mills if everyone just starts going in that direction. And also when you buy it from a save or whatever, that money will go to help save and continue with saves work and slowly again stop these horrible mills.
The mills they need to go.
Right,
I mean,
right.
It's disgusting.
That was one of the top questions I had. I wanted to bring to this audience.
Right.
Something I'm really passionate about, just like them. I mean,
I know the FBI sometimes gets involved because it's like commerce across interstate lines, and then you hear
Yeah,
about
there
it.
was a recent case with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's absolutely disgusting.
Well, we have about 4 minutes left. Can you give where they can go to your website and what else they can do and how they can help?
Sure. Our website is pinupsforpitbulls.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. And if you have any questions, you can always email info@pinupsforpitbulls.org. If there's urgent dogs in your area in need that you want us to share on our social media pages, you can email Jen at pinupsforpitbulls.org. She does all of our urgent dog postings. And just like and share our posts.
adopt, don't shop.
I guess, and can you share with us, I guess we have 3 minutes, and anyone want to share their most incredible, poignant dog memory? You can.
Go ahead, you have one?
I don't have. I grew up with cats. My mom wouldn't allow that. Yeah.
I thought you would make something up at
Sorry.
improv, please.
All right, there was this dinosaur, right?
So I'll tell you about one of my dogs. I have 2 dogs. I have Sir Chubrock. I got him out of an animal shelter or out of a dog rescue.
Great name.
Out in
Yeah, the names
Pennsylvania.
alone, the best part of the story now.
So the mom they found tied to a cemetery fence post, pregnant. She got taken to the shelter. She was going to be euthanized. So a very nice shelter employee made her disappear from her kennel in the evening one night when she was leaving. So the mom, Darla, and her little rascals were born. That was the name of their litter when I got them from the rescue. So he was Chubsy Ubsy out of the litter. So Chubbs has been with me for almost 8 years now. His mom is very happy. He lives on a huge horse farm out in Pennsylvania. Loves kids, loves horses, goes to all the horse shows. So when he was about a year old, I wanted to get him a friend. So I got Miss Prada Bear. Miss Prada Bear came from Camden County Animal Shelter. They told me that she was like one of like the unadoptable dogs. Like she was crazy and she didn't get along with anybody and other dogs. And she was like in the back all by herself. And I was like, I have to see this dog for myself. So I had them bring her out. I had my other dog, Chubsy Ubsy, with me. And they literally fell in love. And they have been like BFFs for the past 6 or 7 years. So every time people say, you know, that dog's mean or that dog can't be rehabilitated, she was literally marked with like the aggressive sign on her kennel at the shelter. And she is like this, like the biggest love bug in the world. So.
Do anyone else or no? Well, we'll give a pouty kiss to the camera and say, we love pinups for Pitbulls. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having us.
And I hope we're on Facebook Live, and you know what to do. Go to Pinups Pitbulls right now. Get a dog, foster a dog. Don't go to Mills. Listen to Lauren. Listen to them. Don't listen to me because I don't make sense all the time.
Give yourself a Hannah.
A Hannah.
Yes.
Give yourself a Hannah.